This is one of the best stories in WEBTOON. To be brief, here is a synopsis by the author. A girl who belongs in a different time, a boy possessed by an emptiness as deep as space, a story about an alien artifact, a mysterious murder, and a love that crosses light years. Soft spoilers alert 1. Amy, a little girl who lives in a mining colony in the middle of space, has her world turned upside down when father is fired from literally the only type of job there is in that place. She is being forced alongside her parents to leave everything they know, their friends, the mining colony, and go to Earth and start a new life. You may think, as she has all the technology, she can make an easy video call to her old friends. The thing is that the only way she and her family can return to Earth is by cryogenic freezing, which means they will all be asleep during 30 years. And her best and dearest friend will be an adult, while she remains a child in a new unknown place. Spoiler alert 2. Now, as a comic artist and writer, I really wanted to analyze why I really liked this story so much. Something I really admire from Spacebow is how real and believable the characters are. I can definitely think they exist somewhere. Their personalities are so natural, definitely can think someone has that personality. So this analysis is going to mainly focus on how to write believable characters. But before that, a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, ISHAN Comics. Tip number 1 on how to write realistic characters: we have to know how to build them. We already saw without noticing number 1, background. If you have been watching this video, we already know this information so far. Who, the main protagonist, is Amy. She's a daughter, a schoolgirl, and clumsy daydreamer. What? The past is the backstory. You can go as much into depth as you like. She has her normal life in a mining colony. The present is that she's being forced to go to Earth, leaving everything she knows. And the future, the author should know. I'm going to skip this part to avoid some spoilers. The where or world building is very important because it lets you know the kind of characters, problems, and dynamics there's going to be. We know it's on the space, a mining station, Earth, a school, etc. But it clearly is set in the future. Let's see to complete it as we go along with the story. K.M. Wayland, in his book Crafting Unforgettable Characters, mentions you can really extend this shit with an interview to your characters, so you can make so many questions to your characters to really get to know them, which of course is a very important piece in writing believable characters. If you don't know your character fully, you will make them act in a very incongruent manner with the way you build their personality. So of course it's better that you know everything about your character. There's so much to know about characters that you can get overwhelmed. This video is just a scratch on the surface on how to build characters, but this is a start. Even though the name is called Spaceboy, the protagonist is an adorable girl called Amy and her coming of age story. A story genre that focuses on the growth of a main character, or MC, is that even in this comic, there's a certain emphasis towards inner monologue. Amy is like your girl next door, but better. She seems ordinary, but she's actually extraordinary. The author describes her as an ordinary girl, but she carries a treasure of sweetness and joy. Amy's way of seeing and understanding the world is kinda unique, as she has a condition called synesthesia? In her case, it means she associates people strongly with flavors in her brain, which also is a brilliant way of getting each and every character in this story effectively through her eyes. Gemma is Amy's best friend. Sarcastic and strong, she has the confidence of someone who knows herself. She's calm and sensible. This character doesn't hold grudges if they know you messed up by accident. So I like her a lot. Something important to define the character is the what, how they react to the conflicts that come up in the story. Amy sounds amazing, right? But believable character has to have flaws. Nobody likes someone perfect, and someone perfect doesn't really exist, actually. Amy does sound amazing. She's cheerful, optimistic, sweet. She's a really nice daughter with her parents, at least at this age. But she has flaws. She can be clumsy, lazy when unmotivated. At first, she does resist adapting to the new environment, even a little egocentric, which is very understandable at such a young age. Without being mean, Amy wasn't thinking about her parents and how hard it was for them too, as they were all leaving their whole life behind. The mom and dad were, however, making a fantastic effort on trying to adapt quickly and bravely to Earth and trying to get Amy excited, while their poor daughter was a little caught in understandable sadness for what she herself had lost. Fear and insecurity even prevents her from contacting the best friends she has loved. And we completely understand where she's coming from. She's very relatable, understand the way she's behaving. Many of us would behave that way. The parents have someone to protect, so they have to be stronger. Amy is a child and she's learning to move on, while everyone around her already has. And as you can see, even though we do have a glimpse of her inner thoughts, the author has been showing us how she acts, so we can get a sense of her character. Let me tell you something. Amy was sad and avoiding to go to eat dinner with her parents, etc. But she wasn't yelling at them. She wasn't being mean to them. That tells a lot about a person, the way they treat their parents. Amy is an optimistic fighter and she is very generous, so it's natural that after she lets herself feel some of that sadness, that's completely natural by the way, she will fight to grab something that makes life beautiful and hopeful as soon as she can. Number 3 on how to write a believable character. Other characters can be your opportunity to bring out the main character's personality, or just anyone. Think about siblings, it's way easier when you show one responsible and the other one is careless. I'm just going to mention briefly. The character of the dad and the mom are not as fleshed out as they could be, but it's not really necessary right now. The dad we get very quickly because of the character design. The round shapes make him seem cozy, and actually his flavor is hot chocolate from what I remember. And the mom is mint, which fits them pretty well. I think the mom is just like an overall good mom. Then we have David, and I will just describe the actions for you to make the first impressions. You are new at a new school, and you are a little lost. Someone notices you, and that someone approaches you and says, "Hey, what's up?" And you find the first person that speaks to you. What do you think of that person? He saw maybe that you were lost, and he's friendly, he's kind, and he gives information about the school, and you find that information maybe is reliable, and you see that is David. He's a very friendly guy and the protagonist's first friend. Okay. Then we have Casey, so let's describe her in actions and you get to tell the character. She arrives, the first thing she does is that she walks very directly to her boyfriend. She kisses him and then she asks to him, "Who is this?" about Amy. Then when Amy says that she will probably skip lunch, she immediately thinks about diet and asks Amy if she is doing any. But then she proceeds to buy Amy lunch when she finds out that Amy doesn't have her lunch. So you can tell she's generous, she's a little protective. Well, you see more of that later in the story. We also have Seth, just a kind, sweet boy who has the problem of having a very big crush on Amy. As the author says, he has it quite badly. So yeah, we have other cinnamon rolls I will skip for now, there are lots of characters. And I think something that's very cool about shows and comics is that you have the time to get to know the character, you have the time to develop a romance, a believable friendship, because not everything happens super quick. I have a hard time watching some romance movies because I feel like the two people fall in love super quick and I cannot buy it. But in a series or a comic that lasts so much time, you can take advantage of that, and that's amazing. And in that same way, we get to know Amy. The author dedicates a couple of chapters to get to know her story. This comic is not all sunshine and rainbows. While introducing warm, heartfelt elements that make you love each and every one of their characters once you get to know them, its brilliant storytelling still perpetuates the feeling that those moments and characters that you are loving so much and that are making your heart so happy may disappear in a split second. There's dangers in this comic. Enemies, mysterious forces, and then we have Oliver. Who is this boy? Yeah, total mystery. He catches Amy's attention unintentionally. He seems to not be there, and yet he is. We only know Oliver seems to be caught by the nothing, but he has to remember at times he is alive, only to return to the nothing again. Oliver faces the nothing, its calmness and its despair, which are concepts that people face, bravely or not, at one time or the other, but never in the way Oliver has had to face as a courageous space boy. How the author does it. Stephen McCranie is both an author and an artist. He has some old works under his belt, such as his children's series, MacLeod, and his comic essay, Brick by Brick. He also has Space Boy on physical books, and I will add all links down below. They look amazing and so compelling. Stephen McCranie is also one of the best people or authors I have seen. I think some small creators like me can learn some humility from seeing how he treats his fans. Even though he does receive lots of fan art, lots of messages, and there's no way he can answer everything, he does take his time with each update to select some of the fan arts people have made, and he comments on them. He makes sure to make you feel like he cares. Honestly, I can imagine it does take him some valuable hours to do this. It's really a good effort he is making. The main thing I was interested about copying McCranie, learning from him, is his writing process. He has an outline, which I have an entire video about outlines. I love outlines, they're amazing. So I will put it somewhere. He does his outline, then he proceeds to scripting, writing and rewriting for 1 to 2 days, and then he has the rest of the process. But I was especially interested with the part of scripting for 1 or 2 days, and how he describes that the feeling of finally getting something he is satisfied with is amazing, but he has to put in the work. I'm going to make a video about writing, so subscribe if you want to see more about it. Would you like me to cover another comic that maybe you love? I have already some videos prepared, but I will add them to the list. This video is sponsored by ISHAN Comics. He's a writer with several works under his belt. I am actually working on a comic written by him called Lakshmi Bai, about the famous woman who fought for India. Check him out, enjoy his stories, and let's go back to it. Thank you again to ISHAN Comics for sponsoring this video, and I will see you everyone in the next one. Bye!